If a child ship asks the father ship, where do ships come from, the father ship won't be able to lie about the stork or the cabbage patch. Ships are too heavy for the bird's neck and won't fit in a garden. So without further ado, we came to the shipbuilding facility, Severnaya Verft, which, by the way, is 103 years old. Here we will learn more about the technology and penetrate into the ship's every corner. The factory's glorious history began after the Russo-Japanese War, when it started to be clear that there was a need to modernize old ships and build new ones. Throughout its long history, about 400 ships were launched in Severnaya Verft. And now the flagship of the Russian surface shipbuilding is at the forefront of the revival and improvement of the Russian fleet. These are sections for future corvettes. This one exactly is going to be a part of the lower deck. Even bulkheads are visible. That's how a battleship, section after section, is assembled. Basically, the corvette is like a picture of puzzles. Small and large details are adjusted to each other and, well, then through the sea gates, it heads along the rails towards freedom. When the main platforms of a ship are ready, it is delivered to the covered berth. Even though I'm going to the auxiliary deck, but I'm not going to help anyone because when 15 tons of aluminum magnesium alloy are hovering over you, you want to put on a helmet or just hide somewhere. Now, the installation of a tower mast is being installed, which will be the best place for all radars in the future. The weight of the tower mast structure, equipped with antennas and cables, is about 27 tons. Radar stations such as Monument, 4G, and so on will be installed into service openings after construction. We couldn't help looking at the semi-assembled corvette from the inside. There is a feeling that we are in a workshop. In fact, we are in the boathouse, where the corvette takes on a more familiar appearance. Mr. Alexander Alexandrovich, just in simple words, at what stage does the building of the ship's hull begin? The construction of the hull begins with cutting and bending of parts, which are used for large, massive structures called sections in the workshop. The ship's hull is formed from these sections. As the hull is formed, it is filled with mechanisms, armature, pipes, cables, and so on. And therefore, at this stage, the island structure appears. Yes, after the main mechanisms are installed, the island structure is located onto the ship. And you see this structure. It is made of unique materials. Well, it's very different in appearance. So it is not made of steel for the most part, right? Yes, for the most part. It's not steel. It's made of polyester resins and fiberglass. Okay, so inside the same materials are used. Yes, there are the same materials inside. Insulation materials and incorporations to reduce radar visibility. Well, let's go and see. The underwater part of the hull has new contours, which markedly reduced water resistance when the ship moves at maximum speed. This made it possible to install a main power supply system, which is lighter and less powerful. Designers bit by bit optimized the interior space, but not to install a jacuzzi in the cabins, but to equip heavily the remaining 18% of the water displacement with missiles, artillery, and jamming sections. As I said, not all constructions are made of fiberglass parts. Well, this is obviously metal, and there are metal ones, where the cellars for missile and artillery are installed. Ah, so that's why it's metal. Yes, the manufacturer of a fiberglass island structure significantly reduced the weight of the structure. Reduce weight, water displacement, place a huge number of weapons. And what kind of work is also carried out in the island structure, like with regard to reducing the visibility? That is, maybe there are special coatings. Exactly. First, the structure has a special design, special angles of inclination. Special materials are used in the structure, in plastics, which allow to absorb and let through radar beams. Basically, the structure, as I see, is like Lego. In other words, is attached to the upper deck with bolts, right? Exactly. In order to attach a fiberglass structure to a steel body, so-called glue bolts have been used, which make it possible to connect the steel body to the plastic structure reliably. Dock is like an elevator that goes underwater directly with the ship. Only the platform is underwater, and the ship remains floating. Then the newly born vessel is transported with tugs to the building berth, where the corvette will be wished a favorable wind and sent to its sea adventures.